Wow, thank you, Sandy. You're too kind with your words, and it's a tremendous honor to be here tonight. By the way, for those of you who don't know Sandy, Sandy actually is the epitome of being a role model and trailblazer. I've really admired Sandy for a long time now because she's one of the few Asian American women general counsels in a Fortune 500 company. And even with all those responsibilities, she's made it a priority to give back. She's active, as you guys know, as an AALDEF board member, active in NAPABA, as well as she mentors young lawyers. So for all that, Sandy, thank you for being an inspiration to us all. And I want to thank all of you guys for being here tonight. I know that the weather hasn't been particularly cooperative. We see the ice floes out there in the river. There are some people who couldn't make it here tonight because of the weather, but I know that their spirits are with us tonight. And it's important that you guys are here because not only for us honorees that make us feel important, but because it represents the support that we all have for AALDEF and the very important work that AALDEF does, as Margaret was talking about. It really is making an impact in society. And so for all that, I thank you guys for being here tonight and helping to support AALDEF. I also have a number of friends who are here tonight, many friends actually who are here tonight. I didn't realize I have so many friends actually. Friends from law firms that I work with, from organizations like NAPABA that I'm a member of. Friends from, my mom and dad and sister, are here as well. And then also my colleagues from Varian are here, including Dow Wilson, the CEO, who's been so supportive of diversity and inclusiveness at Varian, and also very tolerant of my activities outside of the company as well. So thank you. I also want to thank AALDEF for this award and to the AALDEF board for bestowing this tremendous award upon me. It really is a true honor to be receiving this and to be thinking that I am considered in the same company of those people who received this award before me, and also in the company of Neil and Jessica here, is a real humbling experience for me. And I just sometimes feel I don't deserve this actually. But thank you very much for bestowing this honor upon me. When I was thinking about this award and how it's affected me, there's a few things that came into my mind immediately. First, with respect to my son, I have a teenage son, and I was telling him about my award, and he was looking at the press release, and he goes, "Wow, Dad, that's pretty incredible that you're getting this award that all these famous people got." And so I'm, kind of feeling pretty good about myself. And those of you who have teenagers know that getting this type of compliment from your teenager is pretty rare. But inevitably, as people who have teenagers know also, that it never lasts. So he comes back by a little bit later and he goes, "Dad, I also noticed that those other people who are getting awards," and I think he was talking about you, Neil, and you, Jessica, they all have Wikipedia pages. And you don't. What's up with that? How did you get this award? So, first of all, I need to talk to you guys about how you got your Wikipedia pages. But I think the lesson here is that if you're not on social media, if you're not online, you're a nobody nowadays. The second thing I think that this award has really meant to be, and is that it helped me make it into the India Times. I don't know, Jessica and Neil, if you know this, but we've been written up in the India Times. It's actually something, it was an article on you, Neil, that was written up, and Jessica and I just happened to be mentioned as honorees. But still, never in a million years, would I have thought that this kid, this Taiwanese kid, growing up in Houston, we had cows and we had Palomino horses that were grazing outside of our neighborhood, would have made it into the one of the largest publications in India. So thank you, Neil, for helping us get in there. But seriously now, when I was thinking about what this award means to me, it really is a special award for me. Because as Sandy was talking about, it is a closing of the loop for me in many ways. It was, when I was growing up, I saw my parents as, and this is this immigrant experience that a lot of people have here, but my parents came over and they experienced the discrimination, the prejudice, the adversities that immigrants experience. They overcame that. But from that, I learned the value of social justice. I became very enamored with the concepts of fighting for the underprivileged and disenfranchised. And so that's the moral compass that my parents set for me. But it took going to college as a freshman that I attended a talk that AALDEF gave. Now, I don't remember who gave that talk, and I don't remember the exact topic of the talk. But I do remember coming out of that talk feeling incredibly awe-inspired by what AALDEF was doing in the Asian American community. The organizing that it was doing, the advocacy work, the outreach, the work that I was doing on behalf of human rights and on in terms of immigrants, just like what my parents were experiencing. So it really inspired me to become much more active on campus. It really got me active in terms of student organizations. I became active in student government. I even organized, a few and participated and led a few protests on campus. Some of these protests were probably ill-conceived and full of hijinks and stuff like that. But some were on serious issues like affirmative action and apartheid. And so it was those experiences that helped create a goal that I set for myself to really make a difference in my life. And so here today, to be standing before you guys and be receiving this award 34 years after that first meeting at AALDEF that I attended is really an affirmation of this 34-year journey that I've been on. So thank you very much, AALDEF, for being the catalyst in setting forth this journey that I've been on. So thank you. One more thing that I do want to say, and that is, Margaret had mentioned the affirmative action. And I know that affirmative action is something that strikes a lot of strong feelings in people. And, we have this lawsuit now against Harvard and North Carolina, I think, seeking to overturn affirmative action, and it's been filed by students, Asian American students, purportedly. And, irrespective of how you feel about affirmative action, I think that there's a voice that has been missing from the discourse. And that's the voice of people who've benefited from affirmative action speaking out. And so here tonight, I'm standing before you to let you guys know that, and speak up and say that I am a beneficiary of affirmative action, that affirmative action helped me get to where I am today. Thank you. There's no shame in that. There's no stigma. It's just the truth. It really is. Growing up as a kid in rural Texas, in rural Houston, I was, picked on, bullied, like a lot of people probably were, called names, fucking chink. That was the Texas vernacular. And so, it wasn't a great environment to be growing up in. And, I was being beat up. I remember once I was in school thrown against the wall with a bat to my throat by a bunch of kids. And so, but I endured and went and overcame that. Going to college, applying to college. My parents and I didn't know very much about college applications. My grades weren't stellar. And remember those erasable ink pens that we had back in the 80s? Well, that's how I filled out my application. I remember erasing and rewriting and erasing and rewriting, and the ink never really erased. So I was really surprised that my applications were legible at all. Fortunately, when I was applying to law school, I knew enough to use a typewriter, so I learned something in the 4 years I was there. But still, applying, there are people who are applying to law school who their families had lawyers in them. They had family friends who were judges. They maybe worked during the summers in law offices. And, they knew what law school was about, and they knew what being a lawyer was about. I, on the other hand, didn't have any of that stuff. But what affirmative action did, what special consideration did for me, was that it leveled the playing field. It gave me a chance. It gave me a chance to prove myself. It gave me a chance to improve myself. And it gave me a chance to succeed and make a difference. And you know what? That's what AALDEF does. AALDEF looks after the underrepresented, the disenfranchised. It gives people a chance. It levels the playing field and allows people to succeed. So for that, AALDEF, I thank you very much for all that you do. That's why they deserve our support. And thank you very much for this award tonight.